What is going on, everyone? We are here with another spotlight interview series. Every Sunday, we always got a new artist on here, and today we got a new one for you, Garrett Walker. Garrett, what's going on, man? How are you?
Going on? I'm all right. Just waking up, man.
No, I feel that it's a nice, beautiful day up here, at least in Massachusetts. How's it down in Alabama today?
It's not raining at the moment, but yeah, we've had about rain every day for the past 2 months here, so we're feeling like Seattle here lately, man. It's
Hey,
been
no,
rough.
that's it's dude. It's either like that up here. It's either crappy and rainy, or it's like 102 and hotter. You can't even enjoy the weather this year.
Yeah, and humidity comes after the rain, so no fun, man.
No, exactly. So, kind of before we hop into the questions, why don't you just let the people know a little bit about who you are?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm Garrett Walker. 30 years old. I've got a wife, 4-year-old daughter, and everything I do is for them, of course. And I work third shift at a factory right now, and same one my dad worked at, same one a lot of my families, worked at, and you got to keep things going, to stay sane, So playing guitar and writing music's always been a hobby of mine since I was like 14. Well, specifically playing guitar, but I've been getting serious about writing in the past like 2 or 3 years, and now it's just with COVID and everything, which we'll get all into that later. But now I'm very gung ho into it because when somebody tells you can't do something, that makes you want to do it even more. So,
No, exactly. I mean,
but yeah, man, just working, spending time with my girls, and making music, man. That's about
no,
what
that's
I do.
no, that's awesome, man. And that's because what I'm doing too. I mean, work's been crazy for me, and then just kind of doing the music grind on the side just to keep me sane. Like you
Right.
said, that's what it's all about, is just grinding. And when people tell you you can't do something, you just gotta go out and prove them wrong and do what you can.
Yeah, keeping that mental health in check, man. That's what it's
No,
all about.
exactly. So kind of hopping into the first question, I always start with the basic of basics is how did you get into music? Like where did everything start for you? Was that at an early age? Like guitar wise, songwriting, like where did it all start for you?
So country music, and I may not have mentioned earlier, I'm mostly into country music, but I listen to everything, and I kind of feel like everything kind of makes its way in there. But my first concert, like my parents were really into 90, I'm a 90s baby. So my parents were really into some Alan Jackson, some Joe Diffie, some Reba McEntire. Reba was actually my first concert.
Okay.
So I was real big into country growing up. And then I got into my middle school years. And, whenever you do that, you go exactly against what your parents do. And so I was big metalhead. I was wearing the tight pants, the tight shirt. I mean, looking like a goober, man. I'd go to Hot Topic and just load up, for before school.
Mm-hmm.
And I still work out to a few of those bands. I'm a big Under Oath fan, but yeah. And then as I got older, I just slowly started turning into my dad and big into Hank Williams Jr. and David Allan Coe and all that kind of fun stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, now just full blown country, and Sturgill Simpson coming out, Tyler Childers. I mean, that's changed the game and pulled me in, really hard. So
No, exactly. And like I definitely touch up on like a lot of the stuff that you just said is like that early, that like 90, like even just any part of the 90s and like that early 2000s is like really kind of like where I reminisce with a lot of country
oh
music
yeah,
per se,
yeah.
just because that was always playing in my house, like Travis Tritt, George
Hmm.
Jones, all that, all like Alan Jackson, all that stuff. That was what was always playing. And
Yeah.
that's just what I grew up on. And the thing that also kind of really gets me into that kind of music is the storytelling aspect of what they used to do. Because I mean, you still in country music today, they still kind of talk about like stories and stuff like that, but like just the storytelling they were like writing back in the day was just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not even the biggest Tim McGraw fan in the world, but he's got some of the best story songs ever. I mean, Don't Take the Girl, and yeah,
Exactly.
I'm all about that kind of stuff. And as a songwriter, that's especially why I kind of came back to country, because
Yeah,
it's like putting a puzzle together, and it also
exactly.
kind of it's a form of therapy for me, really, especially here the past year. This has been my therapy, so for
Yeah.
sure.
No, for sure. And that's how like I really started pushing all my music was last year during COVID and stuff like that. Like I was just we were in lockdown and I was just sitting here doing nothing. And I really just said music's always been a passion for me. So I said, why not just really try and push it and see what happens? And now I mean, 20 episodes later of the Spotlight series, I've been talking to all kinds of people from all different genres.
Yeah.
And I've just been pushing my content out there. And I mean, that's just all you can do at the moment.
And that's awesome, man. Like I've always said, I know one way to not do something, and that's to not do it. You
Exactly.
know, you never know what's going to happen when you start doing something. It could be nothing. It could be something, you know. And
No,
the big
exactly.
thing is you're doing it for you. That's the
Exactly.
big thing, you know.
And I mean, everyone that knows me personally, like family and friend wise, they know I'm a big hockey person. And always a good quote from Wayne Gretzky that I always love saying is, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
That you don't take.
And I
Amen.
mean,
Yeah.
that's always in the back of my mind when I'm doing things that like I'm trying new things and stuff like that. Like when I started really songwriting and putting myself out there, it's just, if I didn't take that shot, looking back now, like I would have regretted it at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I played baseball growing up, and I don't question why I didn't make it to the major leagues. It's because I sucked at baseball, and I'm not haunted by those dreams at all. You know, I
No,
moved on to something better, so it just
no,
is what it is.
exactly. So kind of getting into the next question is like some of your inspirations, like family wise, did like anyone really like start pushing you when you kind of started getting into music, and then just in the music industry itself, who were kind of like some of your big inspirations that you really look up to?
Yeah, I mean, my parents have always been since I was a little kid. I mean, I've literally taken, like a lot of kids growing up, I'm sure, especially in the '90s, took a lot of music lessons. So started out on piano. My mom and dad were big about that. They were like, if you can learn piano, man, you can, because you learn bass and treble, you can learn both sides. When I was a little kid, my dad played guitar. He was in the Navy, so he didn't really have enough time to get crazy with it. But he was that guy at the bonfires, you know, would pull it out and stuff. And I always thought that was really neat. I wish he still played, but yeah, my parents, big time, man. They've always been. And then even whenever I was rebelling and getting into the metal music, it was hilarious, man. My first band is when I was like 15 years old. And I'm talking like we had a few different names. There was like Shades of Gray before Shades of Gray. Yeah, so that's pretty horrible. And then we had Beauty Has Bled was one of them. So I mean, just super emo, terrible stuff. And my parents went to every show. My parents got me the speakers, the guitars, the cables. You should have seen, we had a basement that me and my buddies would practice in, and we had like that kind of the ceiling that would pop out, you know, like the rectangles and squares and stuff. Dude, we were swinging our guitars around like losers, dude. And I was putting holes in the ceiling. And I mean, my parents just like took it like a champ, you know. They've been nothing but supportive with it. And thank God, now they praise. They're just like, we actually like your music finally, you know. So this is finally happening. But yeah, as far as family goes, definitely my parents. My dad's mom, which is my nana, she everybody said that's probably where I got my music from. My music ability is her and my Aunt Phil. They were in a pretty well-known signed gospel group. Well, I mean, way before I was ever thought of, you know, like back before my dad was around. So, but yeah, they recorded some albums, and my aunt's an amazing musician on the piano, and my nana's an amazing singer. So as far as family goes, that's that. And but Alan Jackson and Joe Diffie were the first two that I ever memorized the songs. I mean, I was 4 years old, and Pickup Man was the first song I ever knew. And then the Chattahoochee was the second song I ever learned, you know. And so I was big into that. Huge Hank Williams Jr. fan. And that's all from my dad.
Yeah.
That's probably my dad's number one. And then, you know, we got in the 2000s, and then Brad Paisley came out with, you know, Letter to Me and Mud on the Tires, and that hit me hard. And that really kind of started to get me out of the metal thing. I was like, wait a minute, country's doing something, you know, like this is special, and really brought me back. And now, like I said, my songwriting is I'm really here lately. Co Wetzel's probably my biggest inspiration as far as songwriting. I like songs that could be on the radio, but they're not going to put them on the radio because the lyrics are too real.
Exactly.
I like a song that catches you, and then you're like, oh, that's what you're singing about, you know? It's a little taboo to sing about, but that's what, like, in an age where we really need to bring mental health to the forefront, I feel like artists like him are doing it, you know?
No, exactly.
He's not just talking about it, he's actually doing it. So, of course, him, Tyler Childers, Zach Bryan,
Mhm.
I wish I had even, an eighth of that in my pinky toe. I mean, dude, I wish I could write like that. But yeah, man, there's a lot of good music out these days. It's definitely inspiring me. Miranda Lambert, that's a big one for me. Maren Morris. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of great writers coming out right now. So
No, exactly, and there definitely are, and just kinda, touching up on, like, what you said about, like, some people that are writing, but, like, not really, like, putting it on the radio just because it's, like,
right.
kinda taboo to talk about and stuff like that. The one thing that popped into my mind was it I'm always horrible with my dates. It was definitely I think it was last year or the year before that, I wanna say, was when Eric Church came out with "Stick That in Your Country" song.
Yes,
Like, he
sir.
really started talking about, like, a lot of, like, some of the issues out there, like
Oh yeah.
how some of these teachers are getting underpaid, and then
Right.
all the stuff going on in, like, Baltimore and Detroit and stuff like that
Yeah.
because no one was talking about it in their songs, and Eric Church comes out and writes that, and he's basically
Yeah.
just shooting his shot at country music saying, "You guys need to go out there and start writing about that and talk about that and put it in your
Yeah.
song."
I'm glad you brought it up because I had him in my list too. I've been, man, them boots was my first. I was like, Chief, yes, sir, dude. Like he is doing it right. And to actually make it onto the radio too, like I mean, in my opinion, that's why he is chief. He's doing what everybody's wanting to do, and then he gets it on the radio because he's up there. You know what I mean? He's able
Exactly.
to do it.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, just like when you started saying that, that one just, like, popped right in my mind, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah, great song.
yeah,
Great song.
no, fantastic song, and I love Eric Church, and that's, like, a lot of what like, my shout out to my mom, like, she loves Eric Church, and that's, like, what was always playing, like, back in the day and stuff,
Oh
like,
yeah.
cleaning the house and stuff, just little Eric Church here and there, and, like, Brad Paisley, and, like I said, George Strait and all of them. I
Oh
just
yeah. Can't go
definitely
wrong
remember
with the king, man.
no, exactly. So kinda talking about, like, that songwriting and stuff like that, you said you kinda more just got into, like, the songwriting, not, like, recently, but, like, it's just kinda like you're really, like, kinda trying it out more. What
Yeah.
is what is your creative process like when it comes to, like, writing a song and doing all that stuff?
It is extremely backwards. I talk to other songwriters and they don't exactly understand how I do what I do. I do have one buddy that I write with that he is pretty similar to how I write. Our writings couldn't be any more different, but work. I'm at work and things just, I have a job where it's very demanding. I'm go, 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 go. I'm on my feet. Like I said, it's third shift, so I barely get any sleep. And honestly, any of the songs that people like of mine, I say it's the fact of being delirious all the time. It's almost like an extra little secret ingredient because my mind's not all right.
Mhm.
But but sometimes it clicks. But yeah, man, I'll be at work and it seriously just pops in my. And I mean, I've got the headphones in, not my headphones, but like I've got like earbuds in because it's so damn loud in there. So it's just me and my thoughts all night, and all of a sudden like a little word or a little line will pop in my head, and the next thing you know, 10 minutes later, I've got a chorus, and then next thing you know, I've got the intro with the chorus and I know how I want it to sound. I can hear it in my head. I can hear the guitar. I can hear everything.
Mm.
And then I come on and I mean, that comes from playing for, what I was 14. So 16 years, I'm able to know what I want on the guitar whenever I get home now. So now I get home and I get my phone, I put it in my notes, which I'm sure every songwriter does. You get the voice notes going
Oh, voice
and you put the
memos.
little, like, all right, so I don't forget how this sounds, like the flow of it.
Exactly.
And it's almost a lot like, I mean, I've got a few buddies that rap, and it's kind of what they do with their process because they're not making their beats, they're just making the flow and the sound of it and the
Exactly.
words. And then I get to come home and I'm like, man, I can't wait till I get my guitar. And then I get it and put it on paper, and it's neat, man. It's a lot like a puzzle. I tell everybody, if
Yes.
you like puzzles, you would love songwriting. Even if it sucks, it's fun to come up with. And trust me, I've written some really sucky songs. Anybody who writes has. So
No, exactly, and, like, I have more notebooks under here with, like, just random words and songs in
yeah,
there that, like, I've
yeah,
crumpled more pieces of paper up and filled up trash barrels more
right,
times than I can count, and it's always just cool to kinda see artists' creative process when that happens just
yeah,
because so many people are different. Some people just start with, like they'll, like, just have that thought, like you said, and, like, they'll just come up with, like, a chorus or, like, the first couple of lines, and then they'll just, like, roll with it from there. Or some people always try and just like play with guitar riffs and like just like find melodies and beats that work for them, and then they try to write from that.
And I've tried and tried and tried that way, and I cannot do it that way. Like if I've got a guitar in my hand, I can only add to a song. I can't generate one, you know.
No, exactly. So it's just cool to kind of see how some people can like develop all that kind of stuff just from the different ways that works for them. And so kind of getting into the next question, I feel like this kind of sort of like is what we were just kind of talking about, but not really. And I always tell artists before the interview, and everyone knows this is the hardest question by far. And it's always my favorite just because it is the hardest one. And it doesn't make or break an artist, but like it just, some people it just really shows and like it shines for them because it shows who they are. And one of my favorite words that I always use is instant identity. And it just, they know who they are. But then some people I get are still just trying to figure out who they are and what they want to do.
Yeah.
So obviously last year, COVID, everyone was in lockdown, and then TikTok kind of really generated, and people were really pushing Instagram and stuff like that. And there's a lot of up and coming artists out there. Like there's a lot of like just low talent out there that have not really made their name yet.
Right.
And with that being said, like with all those upcoming artists out there, including yourself, what would you say kind of puts you aside? Like what makes Garrett Walker Garrett Walker?
Well, first of all, like I mentioned earlier, working in a factory, and I mean, it's here in Alabama, we have factories. We don't have coal mines, but we joke around that we understand where Tyler Childers is coming from when he's singing about the coal mine, because that's what we call the factories here. You know, it's kind of the same feel. I don't get to see my family much. I don't really get to go out with buddies. I don't get to do the things I want to do. So this is the one thing where I can use it. And then I've always had in the back of my mind, I was like, one of these days, I just want to be that old guy that plays at the local bar. And I want to write songs that I would listen to, most importantly. And, but the big thing that kind of pushed me into it, and also here lately, that's been going into my writing a lot, I've lost, since I was 14 years old, I've lost over 40 friends. And it's Gadsden, Alabama, man, it's a beautiful place, but it's been rough. And, you know, pharmaceuticals and heroin and meth and all kinds of stuff's taken over. I've lost a few to drunk driving. And this year was the biggest hit I've ever taken. I lost my best friend and my cousin. And I talked to him every day, you know, for like 3 years. And it hit me like a storm. And it was right as we were getting out of the whole COVID thing. And I was like, I was already writing. I was sending him my songs. We were talking back and forth, and he'd give me, you know, a few opinions on a few things. And then I wake up, you know, I came home from work one day and I fall asleep, and I wake up and my whole family's here, and I knew something was wrong. And I mean, it's sometimes I wonder if I'm still in a dream, you know, like a nightmare or whatever. And so anyway, ever since all that happened, I've just been like, I'm doing this for Josh, you know. So exactly. Josh Evans, man, you up there, rest in peace, brother. And I've actually got him right here on my writer's desk. That's my cousin Josh doing his cowboy shit. So that's what we always called it. We'd go out, and I mean, he was wild, man. He was a lot of fun. But I just feel like if I don't put this out, it's more selfish than anything, you know. I feel like God's given me an ability and a gift to write. And I know that it's helped me and my cousin on hard days. And I know that it's helped some buddies of mine since I've started letting loose. And that's the thing. Like, he was one of the guys that he was one of the only ones that ever listened to my stuff, because I wasn't sending it to anybody. He was like, dude, you can start putting it out there. You can start doing this. He was encouraging me. Yeah. So now, I mean, every song I write is with him in mind. It's like, well, it's not even, do I like this? It's like, with Josh like this? Because like, he was a huge music nut like me. Every Music Friday, new music comes out every Friday. Those of you who don't know, new music every Friday. And it's how it's always been. And Friday is my favorite day. I love it. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be country music. Like, I mean, there's new R&B coming out. There's new hip hop coming out. Pop coming out. Like, I listen to all of it. I love it. I'm a huge fan. And so was Josh. And so that's why we also, I'm sure we were eventually going to get here, but Morgan Wallen is also huge to me right now.
Yep.
I am not a huge pop country fan,
Mhm.
but what I do love is good country music that you add some 808s in. I like the hip hop flow in some of it, not the rapping.
Yeah.
People get confused. That Zach Brown rap stuff he put out, no, thank you. That's not for me. But it's for some people. I know, whatever, but not for me. But no, I really appreciate the realism that's like in Morgan Wallen songs, in Hardy songs. I'm a huge fan of Ernest. I like these guys with a hip hop background that's writing a straight up country song, but changing the way that you think about it. And then also you're like, this is stuck in my head because it's got a heck of a beat. How many hip hop songs do you love because of the beat and you have no idea what they're saying?
Exactly.
Country's coming to that now, So.
Exactly. No, and it's just cool because I think what was it, like a week or two ago, we were on the phone. We were on the phone for almost like 2 hours, kind of like we were talking about all of this stuff, and it's just I really feel like we connect a lot because, like you said, over the last like year or two, you lost a lot of people, and especially last year when you lost, it's just in 2018. Like I always go back to that is when I lost my grandfather, and then a few weeks after that, I lost one of my good friends as well. So it's just that's what really kind of pushed me into getting into that songwriting, and I thank them for that because I know they're up there looking down and stuff like that. And it's just that's where a lot of my best writing comes from, honestly, is from pure emotions. And just when I'm feeling something, I could write a whole song. Like when I wrote Back to When about my grandfather, I wrote that like probably 2 months afterwards, but that was when it really sank in and like really just started started taking a toll on me big time. And I wrote that song in maybe 2 hours. And
Right.
like that was just I could like when I'm just in my emotions, I can write something in like an hour, 2 hours, like and get the whole song and like already have the ideas flowing through my head and stuff. So I just feel
It's
like
a
we
beautiful song, by the way, man. Not to cut you off, but anybody who has not heard that song, check it out. I know you got it on YouTube.
Yep.
The singer, the artist that you had singing it, man, he did a great job with
He's
it.
a hey,
you
he's
should
like
be
a
proud of that. It's
yeah, no,
beautiful.
he's like a brother to me. I always I feel like I always talk about him now on every interview. So again, shout out to Nathan Vasquez.
Yeah, man. Yeah, keep up the good work, man. That voice is crazy, dude.
Yeah, no. So I mean, when he added his stuff to it, and then we kind of
Yeah,
came together with it, it was just really special to me, and it meant a lot.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So kind of getting into the last question because I want to hear some music from you.
Yeah,
So
man.
before we get into that, just what are your goals as an artist? Like, where do you want to go with your music, and like, what else can we expect down the road from you? Like in a few months or like a year
Yeah.
from now? Like, what else can we expect from you?
So I'm one of those, I'm 30, I'm a daddy, so I'm a realist. I don't dream too big anymore. At least I don't put those as my main goals. I mean, of course, I'm going to be a rock star one day. So, I mean, that's out there. No, my goals, man, is right now I'm trying to get enough gigs to where if I could play 2 or 3 gigs a week, which this coming week I've got 4 gigs. So I'm already, it's a step. I just need it consecutive,
Exactly.
But just playing local bars, playing restaurants, and if I could get 2 or 3 of those going a week, I won't have to work as much overtime as I do right now. Because right now, anybody that works in the factory, that the 40-hour week doesn't pay you. It's that overtime. And but that also, I mean, it takes a toll, man. It takes a toll working those 50, 60-hour weeks and third shift. And factories aren't pretty, guys. It's a boring, just not well lit kind of place to be. It puts you in a weird mindset. So my goal right now is to make enough to where I don't have to work overtime. And my wife is in school. She's got 1 more year. And then once she gets a job, if I could eventually, I got a few buddies that do this for a living. They just play live, and I would love to eventually get there if that's even a reality of being able to quit my job. And if she could get a good job with insurance, I'd love to do that. But I try to keep things small. My goal's small. And if anything comes and happens, and that's great. I mean, even you hitting me up, like things like that have happened. The guy that I co-write with, I never met him until I started posting stuff. And then what do you know? He's right down the road. And now he's hooking me up. By the way, Tommy Shields, shout out. Tommy Shields Music. Y'all hit him up. If you like my stuff, you're going to love his stuff because he's a whole lot better than I am. But he's been doing this for a lot longer too. But he is, I mean, I've got 4 shows this week strictly because of that man. So
that's awesome.
Guys, network. I'm not a huge people person. A lot of people think I will go over and beyond for the people I love. But if you're not in that list, you better watch out because we're doing stuff, you know. But well, we're busy. We're staying at it. But no, having people like him that have been there, done that has helped out a lot. He's helping guiding me, you know.
Yeah.
But really, I would love to get a single out on Spotify by the end of the year. That's my big goal. So
No, and that's awesome. And that's kind of what one of my like should, because I have some short-term and long-term goals and stuff
yeah,
for my music. And definitely one of my short-term goals is, I mean, because we're already almost halfway through this year already, which is
yeah,
crazy. But I want to at least, I mean, I already have one song out there, but like I'm trying to at least get 1 to 2 more out there by the end of the year
right,
for everyone. And
yeah,
hopefully what that one song is Back to When, because that's what I really want to push out there and
for
get,
sure.
get out there to everyone. But I totally get what you're saying. And also what you said is just like exposure and connections in the music industry
Yeah,
are like, that's the
very
biggest thing in
important.
the whole world. And
Right.
that's, and like I love doing that. Like if I can help you and I can help any of these other
Yeah,
artists that have been on the series to just get more exposure and get
yeah,
gain some more followers and some more fans and stuff like that, then at the end of the day that makes me happy, because if I can go out of the way to help someone else, that's just who I am and that's how I was raised. And
yeah.
I just love doing that stuff. So
And plus, man, I mean, it helps. It's cool because we can be friendly with each other, but at the same time, like we're talking business whenever like we're sending each other stuff. So like you've sent me stuff, I've sent you stuff, and just not even like, but just like, hey, do you like it? Like,
yeah.
does that catch in your head at all? Because that's important too. Is like I want something that like, if you've never heard my stuff, listen to this. Does it stick in your head? If it doesn't, then I'm going to tweak it a little bit, you know. And it's nice
Exactly.
to have those opinions for people that are used to listening to new music, you know.
Exactly. And you just sent me something like a day or two ago anyway. And
Yeah,
like it was something that you were working on. And like that when it I think I said to you when it kicked up into that chorus, like that
yeah,
really like stuck to me and it was like really catchy. And like
yeah.
I was vibing with that a lot.
Yeah, and
And
one thing that I noticed big time with what you sent me, I was like, this is even a step above what you sent me before. So we just keep stepping up, you know, just keep
exactly.
moving forward. That's the big thing. So
No, exactly. So that's pretty much all the questions I have for you today. Now getting into the good part is hearing something from you.
yeah, yeah, and hopefully I don't mess this up because, like I said, I slept in today, guys, so I haven't exactly warmed up yet, but hopefully I don't mess up my own song.
Yeah, no, no worries. So, like I said, I'll let you take the floor. I'll put myself on mute so we're just hearing you and I'll let you take the floor.
All right, and yeah, just to kind of build up to the song, this is one that I wrote in at work. Came home and put it to music, and it's called Double Shot, and it's kind of about I write a lot about things that have happened in my past because I am a happily married man with a great family now, and my life is very good, and I'm happy, so that's great. But a lot with country is some sad songs, you know, that have emotion in it. So this is just a prior. We'll say that it's about a fictional character breaks up with a girlfriend and that he's been with for a while, goes on to the next girl, and then figures out that he's not exactly she's just with him, he could be anybody, you know. And then all of a sudden he starts missing his prior relationship, you know. So that's kind of what it's about. But anyway, Double Shot, hope y'all like it. She don't like to sleep alone. It could be with anyone. She just needs a warm body. It could be anybody with somebody who wouldn't want me. Now she's leaning with her body. Yeah, she hit me like a fool. I really thought that I was over you. She headed out the door. I was begging her for more. Now I'm sprawled out on the floor, worse off than before. But if I know you, you're probably taking shots like a double, going round town causing trouble, getting away with my heart. If I know you, you're probably sitting there feeling sideways, thinking about heading over my way. But that just ain't what you do. If I know you, if I know you, go around town with my mind on shuffle. So far gone, I'm seeing double. I know you're probably sitting there living sideways. You're thinking about heading over my way. But that just ain't what you do. If I know you're probably taking shots like a double. Go around town causing trouble. You're getting away with my heart. If I know you, if I know you, if I know you, if I know you. She don't like to sleep alone. It could be with anyone. She just needs a warm body. It could be anybody or somebody with a woman. That's a double shot.
Awesome job, man. Awesome job. I love that. That is just there's not a lot of where I'm like I'm a little speechless at the moment just because I love the way that one flows. I love the words to that.
I appreciate it, man. I've been working on it. You know, once you get a song out, and that's what I love about TikTok is like I actually put this on TikTok, and if you go back and you listen to it, it sounds a little bit different. There's a little bit, you know, she don't like to sleep alone, just real quick.
Yeah.
You learn to spread things out. That's my favorite part of it is just playing a song. And a lot of people, once I write it, they're like, you got to record this. And I'm like, dude, I need to play this for like a year so that I get exactly like I want it pristine before you hear it on Spotify, you know? So
no, exactly.
But I feel like this one's getting there, you know? So
oh no, it definitely is. And like I can't wait till you really get those little things down and just to where it is. And hopefully to get that out there because I will definitely be listening.
Well, hey, I really appreciate you giving me an avenue just to come play it on, man. Like it's spread the word, you know. So.
No, exactly. And again, dude, I appreciate you coming on and doing all this and just taking the time. I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate you coming on and doing this.
Hey, my pleasure. And like I said, any time, and hopefully I can throw you some more artists because that's one thing I love to do, man. I've had so many people help me out, and I am more than welcome to help you out, help them out, and we definitely got to get Tommy Shields on here one day because he's about to. I'm telling you, he's about to release something on Spotify. I've already heard it, and I'm telling, like, it's giving me goosebumps just talking about it. Like, forget my song. He's coming out with one that's it's special, man. So
no, that's awesome. And no, like I said, I'm always down to have new artists on here, just like I always do. And before I kind of do my little closing speech here, is just where can we find you on like social medias? Like, what's all your handles and like where are you at?
So TikTok makes me look like I'm a little bit of something because I've got 7,000 followers. I don't know if they're all bots. I don't know why TikTok blows up the way it does, but it does. So on TikTok, I am Garrett Walker Music, and it's Garrett, and this is so goofy, but I've said it since I was in elementary school. Garrett, 2 R's, 2 T's, so Garrett. I know there's a ton of different ways to spell it. So yeah, Garrett Walker Music on TikTok, and the same thing on Instagram. I think it's the same thing on Facebook. I'm new to the Facebook thing. I've just made me a Facebook to put my events on.
Okay.
But yeah, Garrett Walker Music on those 3. And then I believe it's Walker Music on YouTube. You can find me on there. And if you can't find it, go to my TikTok and the link is on TikTok. So
awesome.
Yes, sir.
No, and again, dude, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for taking the time. If y'all like what you just heard today, definitely go check out my boy Garrett Walker because he's got a lot of cool things coming up. And that is the end of this Spotlight interview series. You know the drill, everyone. Every Sunday, new artist. I'll see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank y'all.